Whenever I go onto my tablet, I'm assaulted by adverts. Adverts for this, that, and the other. And yet, during the Epiphany season, I often find myself recalling a scene from an advert for a leading chain of opticians. My favourite in the series of those adverts is when the shepherd accidentally shears the sheepdog instead of the sheep. Then comes the catchphrase. It's a catchphrase which seems to have gone and received the rare distinction of passing into everyday usage. Should have gone to Specsavers. And there are many other opticians to choose from, of course. But Epiphany challenges us to discover what it means to see Jesus and to be seen by him, but with a deeper, a different kind of seeing that has actually nothing to do with physical vision. We are halfway through January, and yet we're still in the first chapter of St. John's Gospel. And right from the first words we listened to a few weeks ago at Christmas, we have known who Jesus is. There is no doubt in John's telling of the story, Jesus is the Christ, the Word made flesh, the one who has come into the world. And already people are leaving everything to follow him. And already those who have met him are rushing off to find their friends with the words, "Come and see." This is not simply an invitation to look at a new vision or notice an interested scene. Jesus is using the words to see the way that we sometimes use it to mean understanding. We might go further and suggest that this kind of seeing is experiential. It requires us to get involved or actually step into the situation, either physically or metaphorically. It is so much more than just looking, so much more of us than just looking. Contemporary technology has begun to open up famous art in new ways. And a couple of years ago, a friend of mine went to an immersive Van Gogh experience, which included virtual reality. I wasn't just seeing the art, they were inhabiting it. His description. He was able to see the sky changing, the rain falling, the breeze moving the curtains. It was amazing. Come and see had turned into come and be part of this experience. And this, I believe, is exactly what Philip wants to convey to his friend Nathaniel. Traditionally depicted as an old man sitting under a fig tree. In this scene in John's Gospel, the revelation or epiphany that comes to Nathaniel is that Jesus can see everything about him. This is the Christ who knows us intimately, the God of Psalm 139, who has been with us since we were formed in the womb and is acquainted with all our days. We have come a long way from admiring a baby in a manger. And now in this short episode, we are being shown another way in which Jesus is so much more. Another of the experience as we decide to follow and discover the reality of Jesus. Jesus hints to Nathaniel of all that is to come, and in tones that might fit with Advent as much as Epiphany. He suggests that Nathanael will come to realize fully that Jesus is the Christ, the one in whom all things will be reconciled. And slowly it will become clear to all who follow Jesus that this is a different way of living from all that they had expected. This is a kingdom about people, about relationships, about love, and about the sense of being in the right place in life. And it is for all people, no matter who or what they are. This will become the everyday reality of following Jesus and discovering more about what it means to see him and be seen by him, and learning to deal with the challenges that throws at us. As the days and the weeks go by, all of those who follow will discover that this is the way of the cross. It almost sounds as we're getting ready for Lent, that season when we think about how often we fail to grasp the purpose of Christ, the fullness of who he is, and are reminded once again that we need to ask God to grant us a clearer vision. As those who have heard Jesus' call, we don't want to be like those adverts. Instead, we echo the great 13th century prayer of St. Richard and ask that we can see more clearly, follow more nearly, each day, the one who knows us so very well. Epiphany is the season of revelation and the season of response. It is a time to find those new spectacles that reveal God in the world, in us and around us. It's a time for us to pray that we might see more and more of the truth of Jesus. And it's a time for us to respond to all that it means to be a follower of Christ, safe and confident in the knowledge that Jesus has already seen that we are, and yet still calls us to be his friends, and loves us more than we can ever know. Amen.